Netflix has done great disservice to Nollywood lovers overseas because the movie Lishabi was supposed to release overseas, release globally on Netflix, but then at the last minute they only released it in Africa. We even had the trailers of Lishabi on Netflix in the upcoming section, but I don't know what it was. So yeah, I had to use VPN. Hello and welcome to Nollywood Fellow, a channel where I talk Nollywood, and today I'm going to be talking about Lishabi, which is just released on Netflix in Africa. This movie has been directed by Niyi Akinmolayan. He's also one of the screenwriters of the movie, along with Yinka Alaoye. I had to read that out. The story is by Lateef Adedimeji and Adebayo Tijani, and it's been produced by Adibimpe Adedimeji, who is Lateef Adedimeji's wife. It's a story of a revered historical figure, Lishabi, and his revolt against the oppressive Oyo Empire. Now, of late, there have been a lot of Yoruba epics that have come out on Netflix and Amazon Prime. And this movie has a lot of similarities with them, especially from the visual standpoint. And there is also a difference in the storytelling in the sense that this movie is a lot more linear and there are fewer subplots and diversions. On one hand, it is good because you're not breaking your head over, oh, who's this character? Oh, what's happening there? And none of that. But on the other hand, it does make it slightly a bit too plain as well. The movie begins with this sort of grandiose, with a big palace and this evil king, and it dedicates a large chunk of the starting to the evil king and his tribute collectors who go around collecting money and farm produce from the farmers and the villagers, and in turn get drunk with power. And then there's a series of events that leads to the final revolt by Lishabi. Overall, I liked the theme of celebrating a hero of the land and that of a common man taking on the empire. There's this message of unity and standing up to power. All of that has been well done. But moving on to one big negative I felt with the storytelling, and that was the introduction of these spirits. So, I like the element of the spirits. I love it when there are spirits and supernatural elements, especially when they're steeped in native culture. But over here, the problem was that they seem to come out of nowhere. There is no explanation to how these spirits were summoned or how they just appeared. And maybe as an outsider, I don't know an explanation that is already there, which maybe Yoruba people know. But I feel that if you're making a movie, the script should not leave such things unexplained regardless. And I have a bigger concern with the spirits, and that is that the spirits felt like a misfit. Now, I'm not delving into how, because that would be a spoiler. Moving on to the technicalities, the cinematography was decent. There are a few interesting takes as well here and there. The movie did not have the grandiose of, say, Jagun Jagun or other bigger Yoruba epics, but it did not seem to be a misfit because it was very much in line with the story, so it did not strike odd. The costumes, okay, I know there is a certain amount of liberty taken with costumes, so I'm not delving deep into that, and also I'm not aware of the historical inaccuracies. But my main reasoning over here is that whatever you do should be in line with the world that you're creating. So here, like for example, purple as a color was not really much in production at that time, which is why most flags also don't have purple. But I'll cut that some slack because that is not something that is obvious or that jumps out. But with the costumes, there were things like the usage of synthetic materials, which really popped out, and that sort of was a killjoy, if I may. Now, talking about the dialogues did their job. there were fewer aphorisms and proverbs. I mean, usually we have an overkill of that in Yoruba films, and I've also come to realize that English subtitles are not really a good indication of the Yoruba dialogues, so I'm not going to comment much on that. But I did have one small issue, which was that I wasn't able to follow the dialogues because there were like some quick exchanges between the characters, and I wasn't able to keep up with the speed of the subtitles. Now I don't know if I can blame anyone, because the actors are not going to be like, okay, let's take our dialogue slow because this one dude sitting in India won't be able to follow the subtitles, Yeah. Anyway, moving on to the thing that I loved the most in the film, which has to be the best thing about the movie, and that is the music. Shout out to Tolu Obanro. He is a gem of Nollywood. The way he elevates every situation and what he brings to the table is just brilliant. Moving on to performances. Well, in terms of performances, the movie was a mixed bag, especially with a lot of extras and so many, actors and characters. Some just looked awkward, and there were some who did even better than the main actors. So, yeah, it was a mixed bag all in all. About the main actors, Lateef Adedimeji, he has donned many hats in this project, and he's done a great job on screen as well. I mean, what do I say about Lateef? He's just a natural. Ibrahim Chatta, another great Yoruba actor, and he had this double role at the start, which was pretty interesting, and he did a great job as well. He was really convincing in his evil version. Mr. Macaroni, this role is such a difference from what we're used to seeing. Now, I don't know if that was the intent over here, because I don't know if the intent was to surprise the viewer, to shock the viewer, because his character graph goes from something that we're used to seeing to something we wouldn't expect of someone like him, and that worked really well. And Mr. Macaroni definitely came through in this. One actor I have to mention is Eniola Ajao. She has a really small role as the wife of a man who gets killed, and going from denial to acceptance to mourning. That was brilliantly brought to screen. So great job there. All in all, Lisabi is not a standout film, but at the same time, it is definitely a very welcome addition to the Yoruba epic genre. And I'm really excited for the second part, because this part has done all the establishing, all the painful parts. I hope the second part is going to be a bit higher on adrenaline. That's it for this time. If you've seen the movie, do let me know your thoughts. Do like, do share, do subscribe. Please leave a comment. I always look forward to your comments. Yeah, that's about it for this time. Bye.